right, guys. Welcome. Finally here. We got our financial podcast ready to go. All right. The name of our podcast is Paradigm Shift.
Hey.
Paradigm. So, baby, you gonna tell them what a paradigm shift is?
I mean, I'm a dime, you're a dime, we're a pair.
Paradigms. I like it. Yeah. So, welcome to the paradigm shift. No, but honestly, a paradigm is a way of thinking, a way. Maybe you were raised a certain way to believe or think a certain way, and we're here to help our community. Our goal here is to shift your paradigm. That's what we're going to do. So let's start it off. Let's just make it easy. All right, somebody finish this sentence. Money doesn't grow on
trees.
Okay, but money is paper, and paper comes from
trees.
We're done. I just shifted your paradigm. Your mama always told you money didn't grow on trees, but that's where it is. No, guys, so that's literally what we want to do here. We want to change your mindset when it comes to finances. So I have my lovely wife with me, my dime right here, Ashley Wilson.
Listen.
All right.
Don't say that.
We'll get into all that later. But we have a special guest for you guys today. We have Miss Kiera Watkins.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Kiera is a tax professional, okay?
Yes.
She is a tax professional, and we're going to dive into this whole tax thing. But before we do that, babe, we got to give y'all the title of this podcast. What's the title of this one?
Are you going to be mad at me if I say it?
No, bust it out. Go ahead, babe.
Tax City.
Tax City, yeah.
Tax
City.
Okay.
Tax City.
Okay,
but now
I promise we save. I promise. I promise the Lord continues to work in my life.
Yes. Okay, guys, so we have Kiera here. She's going to be our special guest. She's our very own tax professional. She's been doing this for many years, and she is like legit. So, Kiera, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kiera Watkins. I am the owner of KW Revised Taxes, LLC. I am also the owner of KW Revised Tax Software, which is a service bureau that services the DFW Metroplex.
Okay.
That means I have my tax office and several other tax offices within their own brands underneath my software.
All right.
I have been in the tax industry for 12 years. Well, I've had tax knowledge for 12 years. I have had my own tax firm for 4 years.
Oh man, okay.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Professional.
She is legit, all right? Legit.
Excited.
No, we're excited, and we thank you so much for sitting down with us. And
Yes.
again, the whole point of this is just to educate our people and get an understanding. It's tax season right now.
Absolutely.
Everybody's running to hopefully get a refund.
Right.
We
The
try
right way.
The right way. The
Amen.
right. Yes.
Hey, that's my slogan, maximizing your refunds the right way.
All right.
I didn't even
So
know that.
we
I'm
right in
right
that
on
vein.
target.
We right in the
Yeah.
vein, right?
Yeah.
We right in the vein. Okay, so let's get started. One of the biggest questions I have personally, right, is what is the benefit in going with a tax professional rather than like a software online like TurboTax? Because everybody's smart, right? Everybody play with computers all day. I can type it in and put it in. So what is the biggest benefit?
So when you use TurboTax and H&R Block, you generally want to use those if you just have a basic 1040, just a standard return, W-2s, not that many credits or deductions.
Okay.
Reason being, a software like that doesn't necessarily know every single deduction that you can claim as an individual.
Gotcha.
Yes, if you know it and you go and pinpoint it on their website, you can input it that way.
Okay.
But a software like that is not going to necessarily come and ask you, hey, did you buy a home? Did you install solar panels this year?
Yeah.
A lot of people do not know you can actually write off your tax preparation fees that you paid for the previous year.
What?
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
as a deduction.
Okay.
So a software like that is not going to go and ask you probing questions to see what all you qualify for.
Okay.
We're talking about 600 plus deductions that are out there that you can legally claim based off your circumstances.
600?
Like I said,
She said
energy
600. We
efficient.
probably only use 10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Energy efficient.
Yeah.
You purchase a Tesla. There's a
Hey,
lot of different
hey,
things
I'm in
out
that
there.
Tesla life.
If
Okay.
you have a household employee, so a software is not going to ask you those questions. Whereas you come to someone like me and you fill out an intake sheet, I'm going to look at your circumstances. I'm going to look at your household size. I'm going to look at the job that you work at. I'm going to look and see if you're self-employed. I'm going to ask you questions to see if you qualify for some of these credits and deductions that I know. So that will be the benefit of going to a tax professional over just a generic software like TurboTax and H&R Block. Also getting that one-on-one attention, like I said, being able to speak to someone and work with someone live and get your taxes prepared accurately.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
We looked at each other at the same time.
I'm telling you all, there are a lot of various deductions that taxpayers across the country qualify for or may qualify for and don't know it.
Well, so and that's the crazy thing, because we think that, you know, you got to have a big business to have all these different type of write-offs, but these are just like regular people, right? Or is this
correct? And when you bring up businesses, our standard sole proprietors and LLCs, there's various deductions that they can write off. If they operate out of their home, square footage, they can write off a portion of their rent. If they have any bills that are key to their business, everyone has to answer the phone, book appointments. Your cell phone bill, a utility you can write off.
Man, we got to get in here.
Things like that. If you advertise and business cards, things like that, you can write off just having a simple small business. Yeah. You don't have to have a major corporation to be able to write off some of these deductions and expenses.
Because you know everybody's trying to get the G-Wagon to write it off, right? Just get the G-Wagon. We're going to write that thing off.
Now, if you purchase the G-Wagon using the business name and credit, that is a business deduction. I'm just saying. Got to do it the right way.
You need to quit looking at me.
She been over here wanting the G-Wagon for the longest.
If you utilize that in your business, that is a write-off. Mileage and gas.
That slogan the right way, though, right? I'm here for it.
I don't know if everybody gets
the right way, Ashley.
I'm not like that anymore.
Well, that's cool, because I mean, how many people are starting businesses, right? Like, we have so many people just in the church that have a talent for something that we're giving back, and I'm pretty sure a bunch of people have nonprofits, LLCs, all this stuff, and I know we have it in the church because they talk to me and ask me these questions all the time, so I'm referring to you.
Exactly.
But I'm being serious. I be getting hit up like I'm a tax professional, but I'm not. But which leads me to another question, right? So I know a little bit about the situation. So what is the difference, or when should somebody go after like a CPA? Because I get a lot of people with businesses, right? And they're like, hey, I'm looking for a black CPA. I'm looking for, and they hard to find, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe not in your networks and stuff.
They actually are.
Well, I guess my question is, when is the difference of going with a CPA or a tax professional? When do you need that level of service?
Gotcha. So when it comes to taxes themselves, there's not a major difference between a CPA and just your standard tax professional. They both have the same qualifications. And also want to point out, there's different levels when it comes to tax professionals. If they're just a standard P10 holder, they can only gather client data and prepare returns. They actually do not have the capability to transmit to the IRS, which is another thing in the community that people are messed up about.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Just as a simple,
so you need to ask them if they're
correct.
You know, what level of professional are
correct. They? So where I started as an ERO, an EFIN holder, I can transmit returns to the IRS.
Okay.
Gotcha. So EFIN holder is like a certification to...
It's not necessarily a certification. It's a actual number that you are registered with the IRS. You go through a application process, a fingerprint process with them, and then they assign you a EFIN, which is an electronic filing identification number.
Oh, okay. Which goes to doing it the right way.
Correct. All right. Doing it the right way.
So
technically, that tax professional, if they're a P10 holder, they should have an EFIN holder over them, and that's the person that transmits returns.
Gotcha.
So when we're talking about EFIN holders, there's not a major difference between those and a CPA as it pertains to taxes. When people just start reaching out to CPAs, it is if they're needing bookkeeping skills. If we're talking about those S Corps and C Corps and they have no idea how to track their profit and loss, if they have no idea how to run payroll, things like that, that's when they need to start reaching out to a CPA, because a CPA is an actual accountant that can help them with those books that will prepare them for end of season filing. A CPA can also assist them with quarterly filing if they want to file their taxes quarterly versus filing at the end of the year and paying a lump sum to the IRS if they do owe a lump sum to the IRS. So CPA is actual accounting. They do more of the day-to-day, hands-on, getting you ready for tax season. Whereas your tax professional, if they're just a standard tax preparer or EFIN holder, they're just making sure your taxes are filed accurately.
Okay. Man, that's good.
I didn't know any of that, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I always hear a lot of people talk about, you need a CPA. I'm like, but what is really the difference? So that's a good question.
Not necessarily. Like I said, major corporations definitely need to look into having a CPA, especially if they don't have an in-house payroll and different things like that. So definitely they would need to reach out to CPAs. Like I said, just for the day-to-day, keeping up with the books, keeping up with the finances, things like that.
That's good.
And that's good. That's good because, I mean, that's always the first thing. Like, hey, I need a CPA. Well, no, you need a tax professional, sir.
Yeah.
Right.
You need a tax professional.
Right.
Sir. Okay.
Not knocking CPAs because I'm on my journey to obtain mine, but it doesn't necessarily, you don't necessarily need a CPA in all cases.
Gotcha.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I like
That's
it.
good.
Go ahead.
Oh, so I was going to ask, I get a lot, just going back to what I was saying, I get a lot of different questions about, from people in our community. What advice would you give, like, our community, or what do you feel like the pitfalls are in our community in regards to, getting our taxes done, or the, kind of
Like
the
what should
myths.
we prepare for?
Yeah, like the myths inside ours. What myth would you bust?
That's good.
Well, the biggest thing I think everyone needs to do is shift their thinking when it comes to taxes. Okay. Everyone is not entitled to a tax refund. I know,
but I want
that's
the money.
usually what we're doing. We're trying to get the refund.
Yes.
Everybody's not entitled to one. Yes, as a citizen, yes, as a person in this country, we are required to pay taxes, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee us a refund. We need to shift our way of thinking. When we walk to and go to a tax professional, the first thing we say is, I want you to give me the max. How much can you give me back? The better question should be is, do I actually qualify for a refund? Am I going to owe the IRS this year?
Okay.
Did I have the standard 10% federal withholding taken out where I'm able to get a refund?
I see.
So we need to shift that thinking that I'm just entitled to one.
That's real.
Oh, it's tax season. Can you give me the max? Well, let's find out if you actually need to get a refund or not. Let's find out if you actually need to pay.
Yeah.
And I understand we don't want to necessarily pay, but we have to pay. So if we're not paying throughout the year, unfortunately, tax season, your taxes you have to pay.
Do you get a lot of people that are like upset when they don't get their refund? Is it like I can't believe you didn't get
Yes, and it is because of that thinking that we are all supposed to get a refund.
I'm not gonna lie, I definitely felt that way for a long time.
It is ball out season, right?
So yes,
time to get a car.
And then they'll come to you, get an accurate estimate from you, and they actually end up owing the IRS. Then they want to go and get quotes from everyone else. And it all boils down to who can give me the most money. Well, you might want to check what they're doing, because if I'm telling you, you owe.
Listen.
Now, and if you get to someone else and they tell you you do not owe, ask questions.
It'll come back later
to see what was put on that return to make you not owe, because I'm telling you owe. So, like I said, shifting that mindset. Yes. Not everybody is owed a tax refund. Another big thing when it comes to shifting mindsets, we have to be a little bit more responsible when it comes to our own finances and when it comes to our documents and when it comes to our information. We cannot be so willing to just pass our information along to everyone in hopes of getting a higher refund. If you get a tax professional and they provide you with the accurate estimate, they are doing everything right, whether you owe or not. Stick with that tax professional unless there's something done that makes you want to switch.
Right.
No one should be jumping from tax professional every single year based off of who can get you the max. You shouldn't do that.
Man, that's what we do, right?
When you get somebody, and like I said, if they're doing accurate reporting, stick with them.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be switching preparers and switching professionals like we switch clothes. We should not.
Facts.
That's facts.
So how do you know if you're with a legit tax preparer? Because you may think you're going, with the right person, and then you find out later it's like, oh, how do you know? What are some signs maybe that you may not have the right one?
Great question. Going back to the various types of tax professionals. So a properly structured tax firm would have a service bureau who is the software provider, okay? At that They'll then have an ERO, which is an EFIN holder. Myself, I am the person who can actually transmit the returns to the IRS. Okay. After that, when you're working with your tax professionals, your preparers under them, each of them needs to have an active P10. Okay?
P10, okay.
Yes. And one of the things you can do is on the IRS professionals website, you can actually, they provide a database of professionals who have actually registered with them.
Okay.
You can always, when you go to someone and you want to inquire and do further research, get on the IRS website, look up their information, see if they're actually listed on there. I can tell you, when we apply for our EFINs as EFIN holders, we're required to register our businesses. If we have websites, we're required to register our websites. Everything like that. Anything that we utilize to gather client data, we're supposed to provide that to them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's good.
And like I said, we renew, our preparers are required to renew their P10s every single year. So at the end of October is when we renew our P10s for the upcoming tax season.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Another thing, client data, due diligence. The IRS requires us to do due diligence. If you walk into a tax professional's office and right off the bat, they're not interviewing you by way of either providing you with the intake sheet or asking you questions as it pertains to your personal information, any dependents, your job. If they're not conducting some sort of interview, walk out.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Okay.
Document gathering. That is a big thing.
deal.
The IRS requires it.
Yeah.
If they're not asking for your documents, walk out.
Oh, man.
Oh, Lord.
Don't just be sending them over text, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all.
Now, there are different ways. Like
Yeah.
my firm, we're completely virtual. We don't have to be in office. So we do have an app that allows our clients to upload documents, but it's very secure. Our intake sheets are electronic, but we're still conducting those interviews. We're getting those intake sheets. We have those acknowledgments. We're getting those documents from you.
Yeah.
We require you to take a selfie when you upload those documents. I want to see those documents came from you
Like this.
and not your neighbor down the street. So,
Oh, man.
so those type of things. Another thing that's a big red flag. I know back in the day when we were when our parents were doing their taxes, those tax firms were depositing their refunds into business bank accounts. The IRS did away with that due to all of the fraudulent behavior. I don't know if you all never noticed, back in the day when they wanted to get an advance, they had to get a check.
Right.
And that's because the firm was issuing the advance. And they were repaying themselves using your tax refund and issuing you out the difference.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
So now a properly structured tax firm would utilize a refund transfer program, a IRS approved tax bank product.
Wow.
For
Okay,
example,
how does that work? Yeah, I was going to.
so, for example, we
Into the money.
utilize Refund Advantage. So they are the middleman between the firm, the IRS, and the client.
Okay.
So when we transmit your return and send it through the IRS, it goes by way of the bank product. If you notice on your tax return, there should be an account number on there. It's not necessarily your bank account. It is a unique account number that the bank product provides you that usually ends in the last four of your social. This is the account that safeguards your money. So when we transmit your return, the IRS funds your return and sends it back to the bank product. The bank product pays your tax professional and they issue you the rest of your money. Your tax professional should not have any dealings. They should not touch your money.
Yeah, because I know, like you said, I do remember that back in the day, people were getting advances all the time, but they was taking like up to thousands of your money, and people were signing off on that, like just to get their money right now.
Right.
And it was so crazy. That was one of the, I don't want to say things that would deter people from going to tax professionals as well, because they try to take so much money from you.
Right.
Man, that's good.
That
That's a
very
good safeguard.
crazy.
That's a good safeguard.
Which also allows anyone to get an advance and still get direct deposit because your money's coming directly from the bank product. It's not coming from your tax professional. We have no control over that.
I like
So if
that.
they're not actually utilizing a bank product, I will walk out the door.
I'm here for the walkouts, right?
Like, you know what?
Because, like I said, it safeguards your money.
Yeah.
In all actuality, that's what they're there for, to safeguard your
Exactly.
money.
That's
Don't
good, man.
touch
You
it.
giving us nuggets for no, because I mean, I
Light bulbs.
ain't gonna put no names out there. I know some
do
people
it,
that
man.
run tax businesses
I know
Don't do
some
it.
too.
that and I they ain't got a website. They in the back door. Somebody
That's another
somebody
thing.
trying
Somebody
shit.
uncle, you know what? I can do your taxes. Don't
I
worry
got
about
you.
it.
I got you.
Yeah, so that exactly the websites as well. So
Man.
identifying information.
Yeah.
If you're able to identify them and find them easily, do they have a Yelp page?
Yeah.
Do they have a website? Are they on Google search?
Yeah.
Facebooks are good, Instagrams are good, but do they have any of those professional platforms? Do they have a LinkedIn maybe?
Yeah.
You know, those would be where I would go in all actuality.
It's easy
because
to
they're
find
easy to
people.
find them,
Yeah.
which
Right.
means the IRS can find them, which means they're not doing anything shady because the IRS can find them.
Man, that's funny. So you did mention like everybody isn't gonna get a tax return, and it hurts my heart because I'm hoping we get one this year. Right? We got to do our
don't
taxes.
know, babe.
But so what are some things that we should do to prepare throughout the year to either, I mean, if you can, to make sure we get a return, or to make sure we don't owe the IRS all our next check?
Right.
Got you. So that varies by your circumstances. So one of my biggest pet peeves, I will say politically, retirees. Unfortunately, our retirees are 9 times out of 10 going to owe.
Really?
There's
Man, I didn't know that.
there's no way around.
So I got to work for the rest of my life.
You think you would think
I'm
I
just
would
I need to know why. 'Cause
That-
I'm trying to get my mom to retire, but
That-
now she may not want to.
After she see this, she gonna say that she can't.
my thing. I think, like I said, politically, that's one of the things that drives me.
Yeah.
Because they've worked, they've worked their entire lives.
Yeah.
They pay taxes their entire lives.
Right.
Their income has been reduced to a fraction.
Yeah.
They necessarily don't have kids in schools.
Mm-hmm.
They're not
So what?
necessarily
Yeah.
driving on our highways all the time. They're not necessarily utilizing the things that we pay taxes for.
Right.
Yeah.
And for them to have to owe the IRS at the end of the year is bizarre to me.
That is very
That is crazy. Yeah.
And for various reasons. It could be because of the income reduction. Most of them at that time do not have dependents that they can get child tax credit or earned income credit off of.
okay.
That's good.
A lot of people's retirements aren't taxed, depending on what industry they came out of. When you're in the education system,
Yeah, that's
based
a lot.
off of their retirement, they don't pay into Social Security.
Social Security,
Yeah.
403B.
Right. So it just all depends on their circumstances. But most retirees are going to owe the IRS at the end of the year. I don't think I've ran across one that did not owe unless they were self-employed.
Wow.
And we even have to watch that because a lot of their retirement policies say they can't make over a certain amount
right.
after they retire. So self-employment is the way to go.
Wow.
Okay.
Self-employment is the
Gotta
way to
start
go.
your own business, huh?
Right.
Let's get ready.
Because, I mean, you can't clock in and get a W-2 and make over a certain amount of money based off your retirement. So,
Oh, so I'm sorry. So backtrack. You're saying retired people should be self-employed as well, or are you saying be
In order to
self-employed?
You're gonna
I'm
have to
saying
owe.
if they do not want to owe the IRS and if they want an additional stream of income, self-employment would be the way to go.
For the write-offs.
Right.
Gotcha.
Versus going back to work
To another
and
Gotcha.
taking that cap
Enslaving
that they
all
have
over
to cap.
again.
Yes, exactly.
It's crazy.
So
Exactly.
you saying even our seasoned saints can go ahead and start their own? It is not too late.
Well, here's the thing. When we start thinking about generational wealth, we all got to start putting LLCs together.
Facts.
All
Start putting our kids on payroll.
Hey.
Start putting our
Yes.
seasoned
Yes.
people on payroll.
Gotcha. See.
Now that's a conversation for a different day.
That
y'all.
is.
We
That's
gotta have
That's a
that.
conversation
We
for
gonna have your back on
the
that one.
LLCs and trusts and different things like that. But
Yes, yes.
That's
they need
good.
to tap into
Yes.
being self-employed.
Man.
Tap
Sorry, I'm
into
just
that.
thinking about
I know that's good,
Thanks.
right? I know that's good.
Now, when we transition into our people that are still working and getting W-2s,
Yeah.
what can help them prepare for the end of tax season? Fill out your W-4 right, okay?
Man, but they
Let's
done made
make
them
sure.
things
there was
confusing,
one time
right?
I did not
They done made them
fill it
things
out right.
confusing. Yeah.
And I didn't realize it. It
Granted,
was too
and,
late.
and
Yeah.
here's another thing for everyone listening. Do not take advice from your employer on how to complete that form. It is illegal for your HR department to instruct you on how to fill out that form. They can't. Because if they tell you wrong, that's on them.
Oh,
I know everybody is in there asking Heather what they need to do
Not
online
Heather.
for.
The right Heather will say, no, I can't help you do this.
Gotcha.
So don't ask.
Yeah.
But reach out. But that's what your professional's for. Reach out to your tax professional. We can actually help you and direct you on how to fill out that form. Now, again, it's shifted. That form has changed.
Yeah.
Right.
But I would say get with someone, ensure that form is filled out properly. Let's make sure you at least have the standard 10% federal withholding.
Right.
Gotcha.
Now, everybody's circumstances are different. Some people want their money during during the year. Some people just need their money. That's understandable, but you have to go into tax season with the full understanding that you got your money during the year.
Right.
You're going to owe now. Or you might get less of a refund now because you got your money during the year. At the end of the day, we are all supposed to pay taxes. We're not absolved from paying taxes.
No one,
That's the thing.
no
So
one
either
can
we
escape.
pay it during the year or we pay it at the end.
Except for Trump, right? He doesn't have.
That's a different story. Lord have mercy.
I actually had to
That
bring it
is
up.
a
I
different
just-
story.
Yeah.
I had to.
Hey, but he's figured out the system. That's why he ain't paying them.
So
He's figured it out.
What is he doing?
Yeah.
What is, if you
Inquiring
do you know
minds
anything,
wanna know.
just, you can give us the light version.
From a general synopsis, just being a business owner without knowing his actual circumstances,
Yeah.
I would say having the businesses, knowing what deductions, knowing what write-offs, having those businesses properly structured. Now, he might be doing some other things, i.e. paying people under the table, not actually putting people on payroll. I mean, you have that right as a business owner.
Correct.
Technically, you don't have to run people through payroll. You don't have to issue 1099s.
Did you
So
know
he,
that?
so he legal.
If
huh?
you want to
He
pay
doing
people
legal
cash,
stuff.
if you want to pay people cash, that's your prerogative.
And
But if you run them through payroll, that's where taxes come into play. When you're issuing 1099s, that's where taxes come into play. But again, like I said, just having those various businesses, getting things in the business's name, in the business credit, knowing those various deductions. Because I'm telling you all, there's so many things out there you can write off. If you're a small
The
business owner, you
G-Wagon.
work from home.
The G-Wagon.
There are things such as your rent,
Yeah.
if you have a home office, your utilities. If you work from home, you have to have electricity to run your business. That electric bill is a write-off.
It's crazy right now.
Absolutely.
Cell phone, if you use that as your business line to take appointments, that cell phone bill is a write-off.
Are you writing this down or what?
Man, I am ready for
Because
it.
the
I'm
whole
just
home thing just blew my mind.
yes, but I just whoever's watching right now, if you were ever questioning if you need to start your business, it needs to be today.
It
It
does.
needs to be today.
It does.
Man,
Not just for
Just a-
tax benefits, but just
Yeah.
freedom of flexibility. And again, generational wealth.
Right.
We got to start setting up our elders
yeah.
and our children. We have to figure out how to make this system work for us
Yeah.
the right way.
The right
The
way.
right way.
The right way.
The right way.
But no, I love what you just said because every time we think about generational wealth, legacy, or anything like that, we're always thinking about the future of our younger generation,
Right.
people younger than us, our kids, our nephews, nieces, all of those people. But I love how you brought in our elderly as well, our seasoned people, because we can also take care of them, and we always miss that.
Right.
It seems hard to build legacy forward or beyond you in a sense.
Right.
But I love that legacy up.
We have
it.
to look back.
Yeah.
Yes.
My mom, when I started doing my mom's taxes, that was the driving point for me.
Yeah.
And immediately when I started doing her taxes and knew that she was going to start owing every year, I'm like, okay, what can we do to shift this? My mom now tutors my children, self-employed.
Come on now.
I pay my mother.
Hey.
I put my mom on payroll
Yeah.
as my tutorer to tutor my children. Now my mom might not necessarily get a big refund, but she doesn't owe the IRS.
Listen.
Big facts.
She doesn't
Always
know
good
that.
to keep it in
We
your
need
pocket.
to talk after this.
We gonna-
She
we
doesn't.
gonna get on
Sorry,
with that.
y'all.
Look
I'm-
at
I'm-
information.
hey,
Looking
Kiara's
back,
get-
we have to set up our
Nuggets.
elders.
Yeah.
We have
Yes,
to.
yes.
Because the system, I really do. I have a huge issue with how the system maneuvers when it comes to our elders.
But that's good because you have an issue, but you found a way around it. We're not just being
Right.
complacent. The right way as well.
The right way.
The right way as
The
well.
right
right?
way. The right way.
Man, that is good.
I love it.
So, one of my last questions would be about filing, right? So we're coming up on filing day, April 15th around, I think it's that day. 18th?
It's
Oh, they
18th.
changed? Okay, cool. Well, my birthday is the 17th, so remember, add the day after
you're
my,
not gonna
the day
forget.
after you give me the gifts is when your taxes
Oh my
are
God,
due.
man.
So what would you say about because a lot of people get behind, a lot of us are last minute.
Right.
What would you say about people that may get behind as far as extensions? Like, when is a good time to do extension? Because a lot of people don't even know that word exists or that that phrase exists, like extension. So, yeah.
Now, there's a misconception about the extensions.
Okay.
So, extensions are granted to taxpayers that are going to owe the IRS to keep them from having to pay a penalty on what they owe.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just because you missed that tax deadline does not necessarily mean you need an extension.
Okay.
You have to think about it. You can file your taxes. Can go back and file your taxes up to the previous 4 years.
You're right.
Because they will audit you 4 years back.
Exactly. So
Okay.
what would be the need for the extension if I can go back and file your previous 4-year returns?
That's crazy.
That extension is for people who are going to owe. That keeps them from having to pay a penalty during that extension period.
And you know what? That makes money. I mean, that makes sense. Okay. Hopefully it makes money. But no, that makes sense, because if I'm finna owe you some money, take your time. Take your time sending in your stuff. If I'm finna give you some, take your time.
Right.
Okay.
So you don't want to incur those penalties. You don't want to incur the interest. Now, the problem is if taxpayers know if they're going to owe the IRS or not. And that is how those extensions pretty much ends up on everyone's return if you haven't filed, because some people just really don't know.
Gotcha.
If you don't have the same tax professional, if your circumstances are not pretty much the same every single year, if you're not paying your taxes through the year, you don't necessarily know.
Right.
Gotcha.
And that's why extensions are applied to the majority.
Okay.
But it's not needed for the majority. It's needed if you're going to owe.
I see.
Gotcha. Man, that's good.
That's new. I did not know that.
I know.
I thought it was just a way to push them
Uh-uh.
aside.
That's okay. So
I wouldn't necessarily say you can file them whenever, but
Yeah.
again, if I can go back and file them for 4 years previously,
So does that go with amendments as well? So if I filed, got a refund, but feel like, hey, I could probably get more, or I want to take my stuff to a tax professional now to see if I could get more, does that same apply back to 4 years, or how does
yes, it does.
Wow.
It does.
All right.
So if you went and did your own taxes, or went to a tax professional, and maybe 4 months down the line, and you look at your return and see some things are missing or see some things out of place, you can very well do an amendment at that time. You can do an amendment the following year.
That is good.
If you're issued a CP notice from the IRS, and a CP notice is generally if you owe the IRS, if they made any adjustments to your return, because the IRS can go and make adjustments at any given point. And it might not even be within the same tax filing year. It's 2022. I see some adjustments being made to 2020 returns. And CP notices are issued. At that point, you're able to go in and do an amendment on your 2020 return to correct those errors.
Man, that's good, man. That is good.
Well,
I
there's so
mean, that's
much.
another good reason to have a tax professional. So,
Right.
so
she's basically telling us, like, you need me.
you need me.
Yeah,
Or
you do.
someone like me.
I mean, what they say, you gonna live, pay taxes, and die. So
Yeah,
in between,
literally.
get you a tax professional, right?
And here's the thing, y'all. That's why I say file your taxes. Again,
Yeah.
even if you owe, file your taxes, because you can be dead and gone, and they're still going to come back and get your money. Their money.
Right.
If you left
They're going to get it.
estate to beneficiary, they will come and freeze that estate. They will take that money from the child that you thought you left money to, and you are home with the Lord, and they take your money.
I've seen that. I've
So-
seen that.
File your taxes, people.
Yeah.
File them.
File
Whether you owe or
your
not, file them.
taxes. Yeah. All right.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you giving us
Mind
so
blown.
many nuggets.
Yes.
Just mind blown right now. Like I thought I knew a little bit, but I'm
know.
a little dangerous right now. I know a little bit more. We're a little bit dangerous
Not
right
dangerous.
now. I mean, I ain't doing nobody's taxes, but I know
gotta
a
do it the
little bit
right
about a
way.
little bit, right? Because
You need somebody that's gonna do
I'm
it
not
the
gonna be
right
doing
way.
it the right way. So we're gonna have to get So Kira, how can we contact you? What is some of your contact information so people can learn to do it the right way?
Gotcha. So we service all 50 states, by the way. So we don't just necessarily service the DFW Metroplex. So we can
National?
virtually prepare returns for all 50 states.
Okay.
We are on Facebook, KW Revised Tax Software, Instagram as well, KW Revised Tax Software. We do have a website, fully functioning website where you're able to go in and look at our preparers. You're able to see some IRS resources, FAQs as well.
Okay.
Complete intake sheets for our preparers and book appointments if needed. There's also some information on there. If you're looking for an extra stream of income, we are hiring tax preparers to prepare for next
Right.
tax
Did you hear
season.
that, guys?
Everybody looking for a business.
I'm just saying.
Everybody looking for a business.
I'm just saying because I do issue 1099s and you're able to write off expenses as a tax professional
All
within my
right.
Oh,
company.
There we go right there. You welcome. If
I'm
you
just
didn't know
saying.
what you were going to do, plug right here. Don't come to me talking about you can't find another
Got the plug.
Yes.
second stream of income or you can't get your own business. We got one for you right here.
And those of you who are members of this wonderful church, we do have one of our preparers who is within your family, Kedra Williams.
Yeah.
She is one of our
Kedra,
preparers,
yes,
and
yes.
we're actually transitioning her into her own brand. So she will be operating under KWJ Financial Services.
All right.
She does
on.
credit repair. She does bookkeeping. And she also specializes in business formation as well.
Yes.
All right, see?
We have
Yes,
someone
I hope
here.
y'all heard that.
So I know, so she can get you going, help you get you going, starting your own business, maintain your business, do your
Absolutely.
taxes. Oh, see,
I love
okay,
it.
Absolutely.
Well,
Right, right in the pews with us every Sunday.
Absolutely.
She sit right over there.
Right over there. Okay,
That's
cool.
awesome.
Well, Kara, again, we thank you so much
Yes.
for stopping by to the paradigm shift and shifting our paradigms
Glad
when it
to
comes
be
to taxes. Guys, this has been Tax City. Tax City.
Yay.
Hey, come back for the next one. Guys, thank you again for tuning in. You have all of her information. Reach out. You got to do your taxes the right way. If you didn't learn anything else, we have to do it the right way. Thank you again for joining us. My lovely wife. Baby, you got anything?
No, I'm excited to be here. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. So we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you again for joining us. This has been Tax City Paradigm Shift. Love you.